Welcome to Homemade Sessions, where we explore and research entrepreneurs making waves across their different industries. Lloyd, we want to thank you for coming to Sessions.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. I know you're a busy man. Yeah. You have a lot going on. This man is Mr. Philanthropy.
You said it.
Sits on a lot of boards. He's busy. He's a Kappa. He's a graduate of Howard. He's on Big Brothers Big Sisters board.
Just finished. I was on board for 10 years.
Whew. So you did like a whole bid.
Yeah, I did some time.
You did some time with Big Brothers Big Sisters, which is amazing. So you did 10 years there. Mm-hmm. And Philadelphia Ballet?
Yeah, that's new.
Okay.
New. So as I rolled off of the board for Big Brothers Big Sisters, I rolled on to the ballet board.
Okay. How does that even come? How do you get involved with all these boards?
Sure. No. That's a fair question. Actually, Kappa is the way in which I got involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters. So, I think this was back during Centennial Year.
Yeah.
When I was Pomark.
Okay. 2011.
Exactly right.
Cool.
And Kappa launched a national partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Ooh.
But, in true Black organization fashion, they just said, we have a national partnership, and there were no actual rules or structure around, how
where do we go from here?
Work?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So I took it upon myself, found the local agency and said, listen, how can we make this a true partnership on the local level?
Gotcha.
And they said, well, we're looking for a lot more Black men to be mentors. And I said, that's crazy, because I got about 60 Black guys
weird.
with college degrees,
right?
And I can get you access to them.
Yep.
And so, kind of as the trajectory goes, you start off and you're a volunteer.
Yep.
And then after you're a volunteer, they say, you should join a committee. And you join a committee and they say, you should join the board. But the turning point really came. So I joined the board. I was on the board for a couple of years.
Okay.
And then I became the treasurer of the board. And this is still Big Brothers Big Sisters that govern the 3 counties in South Jersey.
Okay.
And so we were running a budget that was primarily through government grants.
Okay.
And so it was around $250,000.
Got it. Decent.
So, decent,
yeah.
Small.
Right.
It's Jersey.
Exactly.
But I wanted to make sure that we got a bit more diversified in the way in which we approached our solicitations. So looking at more of those corporate sponsorships, looking at some of the individual giving. And so I really led that charge to grow the budget threefold. And so we were at about $750,000. And so, when you start raising money, then they say, you should be the board chair.
That's more than threefold, though. You just said we went from a quarter.
Well, yeah, right. From 250 to 7.
Yeah. So just a little bit.
It was significant.
Okay.
It was significant.
Okay.
So that got me a seat as the board chair.
Okay.
And so I did that for a couple of years. And then we had this strange scenario where the CEO of our then agency decided to take a new job while I was the board chair. I was like, you couldn't wait till I was done being board chair first?
Weird.
Yeah. So he decides he wants to take a new job.
Okay.
And I was faced with, I have kind of 2 different directions where we could go.
Yeah.
We can launch a search for a new CEO. Or I said, I've got this novel idea. Why don't we look at a merger? Because of the way that Big Brothers Big Sisters works, it's pretty territorial.
Right.
And so we were over in South Jersey, and we were in those 3 counties, but we couldn't really do too much by way of going over into Philly, looking into the corporate sponsors, looking at, getting people to mentor from over in Philly.
Yeah.
So I said, why are we splitting our resources, particularly when we're looking for, more Black and brown people, looking for more men to be involved.
Yeah.
Let's reach across the bridge and let's work together. So we did it. And we put those 2 together, and we created Big Brothers Big Sisters Independence Region.
Okay.
And so that then covered 7 counties in kind of like the Delaware Valley area, if you will, across PA and New Jersey. It became the 4th largest agency for the Big Brothers Big Sisters network.
Okay.
Serving somewhere really close to about 4,000 kids.
Wow.
In the area, many of them who look just like me and you.
Yes.
Yes. 81 employees, $7 million nonprofit. I mean, so now we were talking about the big leagues.
So just threefold. Just
no. But you would think, you would think that I was retiring after that. Like I thought they're gonna hang my jersey up. Like I'm done. I just helped them with this huge merger. Like I'm done. Make me emeritus. That's not how it goes. And they're like, ooh, you should really stay on and be on the board of the new nonprofit. All right, so I'll do that in an advisory capacity.
Yeah. Wait, he still has a day job.
Still have a day job, a whole day job, like as a lawyer.
Like a
whole
job.
Yeah, a job.
So I don't know how you do this.
And kids started to come.
I don't know how his wife lets him do this, but he somehow figures out a way.
I'm gonna tell you how. Because see, all of these different organizations, they all have these big annual fundraisers.
Okay.
And so she gets a gown every time we go to all these black tie events.
Okay.
She
that's
really
how you
like,
do it.
You do all the work and I'll get all the gowns.
Got
yeah,
you.
That's
babe, I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're going to go to his event tomorrow. Yeah.
So yeah, that was really her sneak plan. Like, you should get involved with this. Are they doing gala? Oh, I need a dress.
I need a dress.
Yeah.
Oh, and those shoes.
See, yeah, it turns into a thing.
That's it.
Turns into a thing.
Okay. I see how this plays. I see how this plays. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So well played. So you do Big Brothers Big Sisters, and then you Philadelphia Ballet.
Yeah.
And then now you're hooked up with this event that we're gonna miss. So by the time that this comes out, you will have done the event with Rodney McLeod.
Yeah.
And how does that, so that connects the dots because he was with Big Brothers?
He was. He was not only kind of a spokesperson for the agency, he helped us raise a nice amount of money. And actually the entire Eagles organization did.
Right.
Through a fundraiser we hosted with them for a number of years.
Okay.
When I was the board chair. And then Rodney became a big brother. He was mentoring a young man in Philadelphia.
Shout out to Rodney. Yeah.
How amazing is that? Like that you end up, and this was like during like Super Bowl time. Like, oh, you want to try on my ring? I'm like,
what?
How does this become your mentor?
Can you be my big brother? What?
Yeah, no.
That's dope.
Pretty dope indeed. Pretty dope
I
indeed.
was a big brother, but who wants to be my little brother?
Yeah.
Like,
right. When
Rodney McLeod.
When you start exchanging stories.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What did you and your big brother do? We went and got ice cream. What did you do? Oh,
I tried on
trophy. Like, we
like what?
Yeah. No, it was great. I mean, because I love that because, you've got people who are, not forgetting that there are a ton of people who are not only just look up to them, but, really want to hear about their story, really want to connect with them, in that kind of a really granular way.
Yeah.
And to give back of your time. You talk about my little free time. I mean, when you are not like in season, you want to keep that time to yourself. You want to travel. You want to actually, You
got to stay in shape too.
Yeah.
But you want to spend some time with your family. Like that's amazing.
It's quite amazing. Quite amazing. And so we just we connected via Big Brothers Big Sisters, and so now he has his own foundation.
Okay.
And so they're in the second year of doing this sneaker ball.
Okay.
And so he and his wife have put together this fundraiser where the premise is, you still come dressed to the nines,
suited and booted,
but you put on your sneaks.
As Lloyd always comes dressed. To the nines.
So here's the thing. No. So I agreed to be a part of this and to help him out as an honorary co-chair. Right. And I was like, ooh, but sneakers, I don't.
Right. That's not what you do.
I don't really.
You don't have any sneakers.
So here's the thing.
I've got another boy who has no sneakers.
Not really. Nah.
Say less.
65 pair of shoes, no sneakers.
65.
Yeah.
So I'll see Lloyd, and granted, his money's a little bit different than mine. So I'll buy a suit every once in a while. Lloyd will be there trying on like 5 or so suits because, he's Lloyd.
There's always an event. There's always an event. Exactly. Right. Now you feel
this
me,
is
right?
Kappa. This is
you
Kappa.
Feel me. This is definitely Kappa. This is Kappa all the way.
So there's always an event.
Yeah.
Look, so what did you do? Where we getting our sneakers
I had to actually borrow some sneakers from one of my mentees.
Wow.
Because we were the same size. So check this out. About 4 or 5 years ago, he was going to prom and he was like, ooh, I would really like to wear a pair of those Ferragamos. Yeah. And he wanted the belts. I was like, okay.
Whoa.
So at the time, I'm like, all right, it's your senior prom. I'm going to let you wear it.
You got to
Little did we know, 4 years later, I'd be like, boom, those Jordans. I'm going to need to wear those for a
You got to pay it forward. You got to pay it forward. I love it. I love it. That's dope.
My mentee is he's hooking me up.
That's dope. So what are you know what you rocking?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. It's this is on air afterwards. So wait, it's Jordan retro.
Okay.
Homage to home something. They're
he's
like red. Oh no,
he's lacing it.
They're very expensive. Yeah, he was like, you got to take care of my stuff. I was like,
they're probably as expensive.
Like,
as
boy, I got you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Just about as expensive as the gamos and the belt. It's the same.
Exactly right.
Same game. I love it.
It's how you look at it.
I love it. So, what got you into philanthropy? Like, I feel like you've been doing this. So, quick aside, me and you met, what was that?
Oh my gosh.
That was
2008?
8-ish?
2008?
Yeah, 2008-ish. And it was in Orlando and it was Philly. It was Urban League. It was an Urban League event. Lloyd was a Kappa. I was, I eventually became a Kappa. And Lloyd was already doing the work. What got you started? I mean, is it literally just, hey, there are other kids that look like me that...
So it really started with mentoring and wanting to give back in that regard, kind of around, like the legal space and law school, because when you matriculate through law school, you will look around and there's not really too many people who look like you. Exactly right. Which little did I know that was going to end up shaping my career later, but that's for a different podcast. But nonetheless, wanted to start doing a bunch of the give back and the mentoring. And really, you know what, once you actually put yourself out there and you start to volunteer, you start to network, and certainly when you are someone who not only is just kind of like a name on the roll, like a seat filler, but you're a doer. And I've always been, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it with the thought process that one day I'm going to lead it.
I love it.
That's it.
I love it.
And so even with the Urban League, when you met me at that point, I was the membership chair, and I was like making sure everybody in Philadelphia knew that the Urban League was like the it organization for you to join. So
that's so dope.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah. So I think I got that from Howard. I know I got that from Howard.
That's from Howard?
Yeah.
Shout out to Howard.
Always.
Another great HBCU.
Oh,
it's not Morehouse College, but it's a great historically Black college.
This is your podcast. I'm gonna let you live. Shout out to our vice president.
We're gonna call
Kamala Harris.
We're gonna call it the real HU today.
The real HU. That's
the
exactly right.
real HU. So shout out to Howard. At least coming from an HBCU, we were groomed to make sure that we paid it forward.
That's exactly it.
It's that whole talented 10th idea. I'm very big on W.E. Du Bois, and we have to pay it forward, right? So you're doing all these things. I still don't understand how you have time for your family. Lloyd, like myself, has 2 kids.
I do.
Where do you find the time?
So, I mean, it's something I'm also teaching my kids. So oftentimes, if you see me out volunteering, I will bring one or both of my kids with me.
I love that.
If we're at the fundraisers, my wife is coming with me. Again, it's pretty much a family decision because I don't do anything that I'm not passionate about. Because if you find yourself just kind of saying yes to anybody who says, oh, hey, can you join my board? I mean, don't forget that each one of these boards, you're talking about 5,000, 10,000. Like you got to give money and support them. So, I mean, if I'm going to write a check or if I'm going to go and fundraise, it's going to be something that I'm passionate about.
Those are big checks. And then I got to go to a gala too.
Right, exactly. and I got to be able to talk to my friends about it in such a way that gets them excited about it and makes them want to volunteer their time, become a mentor, or want to come and attend, one of the shows for the ballet, et cetera. So, you got to do something that you're passionate about. And when you do that, it doesn't become, this thing that you're kind of complaining about with your spare time. It becomes a part of the family.
Yeah. It's what you do. And it's
exactly right.
Literally become a part. I think of Lloyd first as, hey, I need to get more involved. I call him and I think about the philanthropy he does. And then I think, oh yeah, he's a lawyer too. How the hell is he a lawyer too? I don't understand it. I don't know if he works. I don't think he works during the day. There's the remote situation. So I consult right now. I'm also a real estate agent. I do some other things on the side, but somehow it gets done.
Yeah.
I don't think you really work, but
I do. I do.
respect it.
Man, I was in the trenches at a big law firm for about 14 years. Made partner at a firm.
Made partner.
Yeah, made partner.
So you're like practicing. So now what?
So I've transitioned. I've since left that firm. Went to another firm, a bigger platform. And I've transitioned into law firm management. So now I'm Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for my firm.
So same lane. That's very much like,
So I understand the industry. I came up in a law firm. I definitely understand what it's like to be, someone underrepresented in a law firm.
Absolutely.
And so you need someone who can very much so, the people who are the closest to a problem oftentimes are going to be the people best poised to come up with a solution. In my opinion.
I love that.
And so, I was a person of color coming up from, summer associate interning at a law firm and made it up to partner. Actually, at my former firm, in the firm's then 90-year history, I was the first person of color to go from summer associate to partner at the firm. But to understand, how to be able to do that, to understand how to go get the clients, to understand how to build a personal brand, a professional brand, to understand, of course, how important it is to actually be in the office billing the hours, but to also create a name for yourself and your community. I mean, there's an art to that. And so I'm able to then bring that experience into management in my current firm.
That's amazing. It's literally doing the work. He's putting in the time, and then he's mentoring and showing others behind him how to do it. So as you're teaching that or mentoring that young future lawyer, attorney, what do you tell them as they're going along their way?
Wow, what do I tell them? That's a really good question. I don't know if there's any one thing that I tell them.
I mean, I know you tell them a lot because, I mean, look at all the things you're doing. But like, honestly, like, what is it? How did you, I feel like there's an end goal, right? I don't know what the end goal is, and you don't have to tell us what the end goal is. But if you want to share what the end goal is, there's definitely a way that you move that is very on purpose and
very intentional. Yes.
So is there an end goal? And for your mentees, do you tell them as well, hey, if you want to be here, these are the steps that you need to take to get there?
But don't forget the goalpost keeps moving.
Yep.
So, again, when I was coming up through the ranks of the law firm, I mean, it was to end up,
partner.
Hey, I want to become a partner in a law firm.
Right.
And then after I became a partner, I said, ooh, I want to be on the management team at a law firm.
Absolutely.
And then that was a regional firm. And so I wanted to become on a national platform. And so I want to make sure I'm expanding my footprint outside of the Jersey, Philadelphia area. Like, what can I do in Pittsburgh? What can I do in Florida?
I love that.
So you got to always kind of keep that goalpost moving. But I guess if there was one piece of advice, whether you're irrespective of your industry, really, I would say for anyone who looks like us, who is, again, doesn't matter your discipline, you have to always be on.
Right.
I mean, you don't have the ability to be able to turn it off. No. And so understanding, really the importance of that holistic brand.
Yeah.
So who are you as a human?
Right.
What are the organizations you support? Where do you spend your time? What does your social media presence look like?
That's amazing.
How do people think of you in the workplace? I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, you're sitting here telling me we've never worked together a day in our lives. No, truly.
Yeah.
And you already are telling me that you've already hit on my work ethic. You're like, I don't know when this man sleeps. This man gets it all done. And so you're talking about my work ethic.
Right.
You're talking about my philanthropy. You have no idea how much I've ever given in dollars and cents to any of these organizations.
Right.
You have no idea whether I'm renting suits or whether I own them. And you're talking about, my fashion. So you're able to really talk about my brand without even really knowing any of the facts behind it.
Yeah.
It's a matter of how well curated the brand is and how you present yourself. You have to always be on.
That's amazing. Branding is key.
It is.
In any industry, but I'm a marketer. Well, I went to school for marketing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, that makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. So branding for excellence, he literally is walking what he's talking. And it's amazing to me. So then you tell me that I'm on the board at Drexel too?
I am, of the law school. I also teach there. I'm a professor at Drexel, and I also taught over at Rutgers Business School.
So I'm perplexed. So listen, I don't know how there's enough time in the day, and I literally tell my wife all the time. I'm like, honey, I'm sorry. I'm not. I feel like maybe you're more present than I am, but my wife constantly is like, I need you to be here.
Right.
I need you to be here. And I think there's a difference between being present and actually being, like
present with a capital P.
Yeah, with the capital P. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Legit. So I'm still working on that. So that's literally why I'm asking I like to ask my older brothers, and he's not that much older than me. But
I'm gonna take it though. I'm gonna take it. Yeah. Got a little salt and pepper. I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, I got mine coming in too. It's official. But he's already said that he's become a partner at this young age, which is mind blowing, and I'm proud of all my brothers, but especially like my Cabra brothers,
Thank you.
And HBCU brothers. But how do you find the time? How do you find the time for the family? To me, I love the fact that you're saying you're bringing them to these events, but to also be present in everything that you do. If you're teaching the kids, how do you then disassociate yourself from that moment to the next?
Right. So again, intentionality, pardon me, and some strategy.
Okay.
And so, no, I'm not going to be able to be, a full-time professor and be able to teach Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and have 4 classes.
Of course.
Teach one course.
Cool.
It's one day a week.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all, right?
Cool.
I do that for one semester.
Okay.
I take off my business professor hat, put on my law professor hat.
I
teach that in the spring semester. And so, you again, 1 day a week, you make it work. Right. So it's not that bad.
It's not.
But then don't forget that when you do spend time, when you do have the family time, and certainly even when you do the philanthropy or when you're gonna teach or whatever the different hat is that you put on, you've got to really be there. You got to be present with that capital P.
Absolutely.
So when I am with my family, when I am with my kids or with my wife, et cetera, I mean, we do it up big. I mean, and so we always have something that we're looking forward to. So whether it is, we started to do like the big trips around the holidays.
Cool.
So, going to Disney World, or whether we're going to go to like Turks and Caicos, or do something like that.
This money's
that
different.
takes it. Oh my God! I said once a year. But I mean, those are the moments, the memories, the magic that people are going to remember. They're not going to remember that I was gone every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. teaching at Drexel.
Right, exactly.
They'll remember Disney World. They'll remember Martha's Vineyard every summer. So like those are the things that we do that really make sure that that time is special when we have that time together.
Yeah, it's progress, not perfection.
Absolutely, I love that. I'm gonna steal that.
Still,
you will see that somewhere. You will see that merch will be coming out.
I love it. Progress now, and that I literally try and live that because I can't. I mean, I try my best. I tell my wife, look, I'm trying. I'm building a business.
Yep.
And I'm literally doing the best that I can, especially with my children. I mean, we do the best that we can for our children.
Right.
I want to take those Turks and Caicos trips. But at the same time, I still got to build a business to be able to pay for those Turks and Caicos.
Also
trips.
True.
But the same deal. You had to become a partner before you could, move into the next role.
Yeah.
So what is the end goal? Can I ask that?
Well, what is it right now? Because
it's gonna keep moving. Yeah, absolutely.
I've written a ton of articles.
Okay.
I have done a lot of speeches, but I've never actually sat down and really written something hefty, something meaty. Okay. And so I want to be published in a way that's different than anything I've published before.
Okay.
So I've gone into the podcast arena.
Right.
Like I said, I've done the really short, like an article here, or I'll do like a column or something like that. But some thought leadership, some think pieces. But never really put together a book. Never done like a whole chapter of something.
What would it be on?
What would it be on? I mean, some of the things we've talked about, whether it's around personal branding, whether it's around philanthropy, whether it's around diversity and inclusion.
Right.
There's so many different ways in which, I could kind of sit down and do that. But I feel like I need a sabbatical to do that. So I feel like I need 6 months off work so I can
and some of these boards. Look.
Listen, from your mouth to God's ears. I mean, make it happen.
I'm just saying.
Make it happen.
I'll step in. Yeah. I'll help.
Oh, you gonna take one? You gonna take a couple hats for me?
I'll take one hat. You can give me one hat for the time being. Y'all heard it. I'll take it. I'll take on the charge. Give me one hat. I got some brothers who can take on the other hat.
Okay.
But you don't get that long. You got you got a quarter. I'll give you a quarter. You better go to work.
No. So I want to publish something.
That'd be dope.
I do want to expand my brand. Like I said, it started off as kind of like a, can I really make everybody in South Jersey know my name? And then it was, all right, well, I was a member of the bar. I took the New Jersey and Pennsylvania bar. Let me make sure I go over into Philly.
Yeah.
And then it was, well, Pennsylvania is big. Let's go all the way over to Pittsburgh.
Why not?
And so now that, I'm with a national law firm and we have offices in 15 cities, it's a matter of, how can I have a presence in all of those cities? So, I got to get around to Miami. I got to get to Charlotte. I got to have something in DC.
I love that. I love that. And I mean, that's literally what that's part of my charge right now is to build the brand and to elevate the brand. I'm now licensed in Jersey too. I'm trying to be like my
my
brother.
gosh.
one of these days when I grow up, I'll get there. I don't know about these 10 boards that he's on, but slowly.
But you can take the kids for a weekend or something. Bring them over. You can start with that.
Hey, I need to come see some more houses in Jersey. Hey, let's hang out.
Okay. Okay.
So I love that. So then as you build these, as you build the brand, it feels like that you have to start your own foundations, your own boards, your own entities. What's your charge or what's your?
No, and I've always, again, this is something that very much so Howard taught me.
Yep.
Because you have to make sure that you're, talking about the community, like the community, as well as kind of the global community, if you will, the community at large. And so I am always very intentional about, what can I do that is very much so going to make me competitive with, some of my counterparts.
Yes.
I think we all know what I mean by that.
Yep.
And also, what am I going to do that's very much so going to look for the next up-and-coming Lloyd? How am I going to help that particular young man or young woman out? And so I have my own foundation over in Jersey. And so through the Burlington Camden Achievement Foundation, we host this biennial Botillion program.
Okay.
And so this is really to prepare high school junior and senior males for college and subsequent life.
Amazing.
And so this is putting them through, some rigorous workshops around how do you get into college and how do you afford college?
Right.
What is proper table etiquette? How do you dress for success? How do you conduct yourself in an interview? Write a resume? Public speaking? All the things that if I had someone who sat me down and told me at that age.
Yep.
Wow, who could tell where we would be, right?
Training for leadership.
And giving them, and even more important than, the workshops and, those quick lessons or even the scholarship that we give them at the conclusion of the program, it's the mentorship. So then, they have access to, someone who has the degree already, someone who's already attained some level of success that they can then begin to, kind of model that. And what I love is then you can kind of see the full circle moment where then they go off to college and then they get mentees or, they graduate from college and then they want to be a part of the program or something like that. Or they want to become a big brother and big brothers, big sisters. Like that's what it's all about.
I love that. And I feel like the peer mentorship is so important because, really, I didn't, and that's part of the reason I even do the podcast is I didn't see people like me doing the things that I'm doing.
Yep.
I don't know too many folks like me who work in fashion. I didn't even know that was a job. Oh, you are in merchandising? What's merchandising? What's planning? What's the inside of the law firm look like? What do you really do besides go to court?
Right.
That we see on TV.
I think there's another element to it. And this is what I found just by, having rap sessions like this, but really just sitting down and asking people, who are, like you said, the peer mentors. So within 5 years of your age, and how do you make money?
Right.
No. Not what's on your W-2.
Right.
But how do you make money? Because a lot of people who don't look like us are having that conversation often.
Better than that, one of my friends challenged me with recently, not only how do you make money, but how much money are you making? And it was wild because it's, like Morehouse, Howard, my very distinct friend group of literally challenging one another and saying, I'm making X this year. And I went from a space where I was in corporate America. The pandemic happened. I basically was a real estate agent, but unemployed essentially for a period. But I still had a job. And then transitioned to doing real estate. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I'm doing better.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is wild. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
People make money like this. And a friend challenged me with, well, what's that look like? And I go, wait, what? Huh?
We don't talk about it.
We don't ever have the conversation.
No.
It's literally mind-blowing of like, how high is high? How high is high? And are they really making money like this? We're scared to talk about that.
Right. We're scared to negotiate.
Yeah.
We're scared to talk about it. And we're also scared to pull the plug when we find out that we are undervalued or underpaid. We're thinking, oh my gosh, my imposter syndrome kicks in. And it's like, I don't know if I'm actually good enough to go and get another job or get a job at a much larger organization. But you never will if you don't go ahead and step out on faith and do it. But it's going to take, that circle that you've built around you.
Right.
And so what I did is, I know you're going to say another, but put together a group over in Jersey called The Collective. Okay. And so this is a group of all, Black men. Okay. All of us are, in the legal space. And so we've all either worked in private practice, like in large law firms, or we've been like in the legal department of large corporations. And we get together and we have we do a retreat.
Oh,
we do a retreat.
Okay.
Like last year during the pandemic, we went up to the Poconos, locked in the house, locked in a cabin. What was it 2.5 days?
Okay.
We circle up. Like we make the food, we have the drinks, we do all the fun stuff.
Yep.
But then circle up. What's going on?
Yeah.
And like somebody's like, we having a baby. Oh, okay. So you need to know the ins and outs of what's it like to be a dad. Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Someone's saying, I don't know. I don't know if I want to stay in this particular job. Like, I think I may need to hop and go somewhere else. We give them that motivation to do it, but it was literally creating that safe space where you can really feel like you can open up about everything going on in your life. And we just don't have too many pockets like that.
We have to not be afraid of having the conversation. It's time to literally step up for us and start having these tough conversations. So as my computer yells at me, having the tough conversations, all this philanthropy, you already gave us a couple takeaways, but anything that I feel like for our podcast, for Sessions, we focus on a lot of entrepreneurs, but I think there's that young lawyer, that young, Black future. I don't know exactly what I want to do. What was the starting point for you, whether it was at Howard or high school? I know for me, I had like this day of like epiphany where it's so wild. I literally was working for Universal Music and then went to go intern at Best Buy, and I was like, oh, I think I'm supposed to do this. Like, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. I was like, I don't want to go to Minneapolis, but I think I have to do this. And what was that turning point for you where you said, hey, look, I want to become a lawyer, or I want to whatever, or that person for you who was the Lloyd?
Yep, kind of all wrapped up in the same.
Yeah.
Senior year at Howard, I thought I was going to get a job in marketing.
Okay.
But most of the jobs that were recruiting at that time were all in finance. Yep. And so I actually accepted a job to go and work in a bank. Oh, wow. And so I was going to do that whole banker life thing. Yep. And so they flew me out. I got flued out to go do, like a day in the life. Yep. And to go, shadow the bankers. Yeah. And to see what they did. This is after already accepting the offer. Okay. And so I went out there for 2 days. I was in Chicago. Yeah. Put me up in this, I'd never been in this nice hotel. And they went and took me out and we did all the fancy lunches. I got flued out. Yeah, but I realized I really can't count. I can't count to 10. Math is not, if I'm going to do it, remember, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it at the level that I'm going to end up running this thing. Yeah. And I was like, I will never run.
Us marketing guys
bank.
Not
I would never run.
No.
Lawyers are even worse. We can't count. We can't count. So man, I turned the job down. So this is right around Thanksgiving of senior year. Accepted the job and then rescinded my acceptance. Whoa. And had no backup plan. Talk about not having a mentor. Yeah.
Whoa.
I turned it down. So I come back to Howard. And so I'd missed a couple of days of school. Yeah. And so my professor, my business law professor, he was like, hey, how was Chicago? How was the job that you missed my class for?
Right.
I'm like, oh, Chicago was great. That job is great for someone, not me. I turned it down. And he's looking at me like, you fool? You turned down
what's wrong?
a nice job? That's the whole point of going, being a business major.
401k?
I know. So he was like, all right, well, we've already passed that. So what are you going to do now? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, why don't you think about going to law school? You're doing great in my business law course. I could really see you as a lawyer. Wow. And I said, I've never thought about that. I don't know any lawyers. I don't know how you get into law school. Right. And he was like, yeah, the strange thing, to teach business law, you got to be a lawyer. You do know a lawyer. Turns out this guy had gone to Harvard Law School. I mean, black guy, bald head.
Wow.
I mean, literally, it's like looking at yourself in the mirror. Wow. And so I will tell you that he ended up, I'm going to characterize it in this manner, holding my hand through that entire process. I mean, I was late to the game. Yeah. Everybody's already getting accepted to, know, some of the better schools. Yeah. And so he told me which books to buy, told me how to study, wrote my letter of recommendation, read over my personal statement. I mean, literally helped me out in saying, this is the career that I see for you. And so ended up taking an LSAT, knocked it out the park, and
the rest is history.
Got into some great law schools, and the rest is history.
Some great law schools.
So if you say my turning point was turning something down where I did not see myself being successful. I did not see that as my passion. I had to turn something down.
So literally why I wanted you on the podcast was we had a podcast. Our last podcast was, well, no, not our last podcast, but we had a podcast with a young brother who's an entrepreneur.
Okay.
In travel. And he said that a lot of people on the internet are shaming folks who work a 9-to-5 and telling everybody you need to become an entrepreneur. Become an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. Everybody isn't meant to be an entrepreneur.
And everyone can't get $1 million from their dad like Donald Trump and become an entrepreneur.
Exactly. And it's a struggle.
Yeah.
It's literally
startup capital. It's a struggle.
Yes, it's a struggle. I was blessed enough that, like, unfortunately, like, when mine hit and I had to become, like, I had already started, I was already an agent, but I think folks need to hear that message. Folks need to know, hey, there's another route.
Yep.
And you can become successful in this, but also lead the way for other folks behind.
Very much so. But listen, those are all the things that we're gonna talk about, because those are all the things that, like, everybody knows, that's above board.
Yep.
So you got to have, of course, multiple streams of income. So
absolutely,
there's a lot of other we can call them side hustles, but a lot of other hustles that help you to be able to go to Turks and Caicos for the holidays.
So next up, we got to have you back.
To
talk about the side hustles.
Okay.
Because
we can do that.
I personally feel like the reason I'm in real estate is because I feel like real estate is a conduit to become wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there are other avenues.
Yeah.
But obviously, they're hustles. And this comes from a lawyer who clearly knows what he's talking about. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through Sessions. We got to have you again.
Let's do it.
And dude, I'm going to be there tomorrow.
Come through.
But also, give us all your info so that folks know where to follow you and where to follow other organizations that they should check out.
Yep. So connect with me on LinkedIn. My name, Lloyd Freeman. And then, of course, on social media, I have the exact same username on all platforms, Esquire 1911.
Okay. Cool.
That's me.
He's a lawyer. I don't know when he works, but he does somehow. And
late at night with Starbucks.
Yeah, there you go. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you, sir.